This is the Crown Network, and we're back with my thoughts, Gideon's thoughts. And I'm Gideon. Welcome back. So you see the title of the video, which states Charlie Kirk's Martyrdom for the Right shows all the wrong that lies in us. Or you can say the U.S. And for the right, you know we're talking about the conservative right? Before I get into the topic of the video, I would like to provide understanding on what a martyr is, because sometimes people don't understand what, certain terminology is used, and it kind of goes over their head. So for the layman, let me just provide that understanding so we can continue to move forward. So a martyr is a person who's killed or made to suffer because of their religious or political belief. Now, Charlie Kirk becoming a martyr for the right isn't something that's brand new. As you can see, several months ago, in July, Trump was almost so-called martyr for his political beliefs at his rally on the 13th of July. So we see this continuously happening through this political party. And my question to you is this a part of the game plan of the Republican Party? Some believe so. Some believe that this is the game plan of the Republican Party to victimize themselves, to bring people closer to their, how you would say, to their work or to their belief or to what they are campaigning for. And that's my understanding as well. But through this big news of, Charlie Kirk's so-called demise, I say so-called because we can never know what truly happens when we're watching something on TV or when we're seeing something. We just don't know nowadays. So we always have to, there always has to be some sort of, pessimistic side when it comes to what you see on TV. Because, like they say, all's world is a stage. This whole world is a stage. And a lot of times we're just innocent bystanders just watching it, and we're taking all this in, trying to understand it all. But the Bible speaks of these times where there be mass commotions and, things of that nature where people wouldn't know up from down, left from right, good from bad. And these are the times that we are in right now, moving forward, because we are in the last days. But I just want to shed some light on this. I believe that the Republican Party, and this is martyrdom for their party, to push it forward, for people to endear them, so to speak. And I have an article that I seen lately, or that I seen recently, should I say, that kind of expounds on or elaborates on, this being the right's way of trying to push their agenda forward. So it says, martyrdom, the right's secret weapon. And I won't go through the whole article, but it was something that stood out to me that, before I read it, I had this title and I had this idea of, this being martyrdom for the right. But the article states in there, says, when there's no other way to legitimize your cause, martyr yourself. The more victimized you seem, the more supporters you'll attract, and the more vehemently they'll serve you. Okay? So the more vehemently people will serve you, the more victimized you may seem, because now it pushes your agenda and it endears people to your thought process or to what you want to do and what you want to push out, because now they feel like people are coming against you. Now, if people are coming against you, they may seem, well, it must be a reason, because we've seen through history, times past, that even the Christian movement, there was a lot of martyrs through that movement. And I know people like to bring Christ into it and things of that nature. And the disciples, a lot of them were martyred as well. So when you put the coat of martyrdom on yourself or on your group or on your party, it distinguishes you as if you're part of the righteous, and you're part of the righteous people that needs to be endeared or protected or followed, because why are these people trying to kill you, or why are they trying to take you out? So it gives you that mindset, and the general public sees that mindset as well. And of course, the right, they would like to claim, or they're trying to put a guise on themselves as the conservative Christian, the Christian conservative evangelical, or evangelical, evangelizing themselves, going from place to place, speaking their political party, and mixing Christian beliefs in there as well. And that's how they're trying to galvanize people. I even seen someone online say that Charlie Kirk is the new Jesus, and that right there is blasphemy in his own right. And it seems like this political party ran by Trump, they want to galvanize people with an itching air of Christianity within there, sprinkling a couple scriptures and a few misunderstandings of what the Bible is saying, and try to galvanize the people that are that don't truly understand the Bible. And like the scriptures say, the devil, if I paraphrase, the devil comes as an angel of light. So that is the best way to trick people. You mix truth with falsehood, and that would continue to lead them down the wrong path. So within that article, it stood out to me because it let me know that this is from the playbook. This is from the playbook of the Republicans to try to create themselves as victims, create themselves as the righteous that are being taken out, and that the left hand side wants to stop. And me, I'm part of no party. I don't subscribe to any political party. I don't believe that's what Christ would want us to do, is subscribe to a political party. When Christ was walking on the earth, he didn't subscribe to a political party. He said he was about his Father's business, and his Father's business had nothing to do with political parties. And I guess I want to kind of take the Bible away from the Republicans, so to speak. Take the scriptures away from them and expose that they're not really following the scriptures. I don't believe that they really are Christians. I don't believe that they truly believe in the Bible. And I will provide scriptures for that. So, and there's no disrespect to Charlie Kirk. If he truly passed away that day, may his soul rest in peace. But we have to bring the truth out, and we have to, exalt Christ's name within this earth, the true Christ and the true understanding of the scriptures, because this is what's going to set us free at the end of the day. So I want to go to 1 Timothy 6:4, and my thing is, Charlie Kirk was really a Christian and he really understood that certain things as going to colleges and debating people wouldn't have been on the agenda for him. That wouldn't have been something that he would do, because he would understand that's against what Christ and the disciples and people that follow him, they were against doing those things. And I'm going to read right now. So 1 Timothy 6:4 says, "He is proud, knowing nothing, but doubting about questions and strife of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, and evil summonings." So when you go on these college campuses and you're debating people and you're asking questions that incite anger or vitriol, or people to want to come up against you, that's not of Christ. That's not of Christ. And there's only two masters. There's only two masters. So if that's not of Christ, then who is it of? So if you're going on college campuses and you're debating people and you're gendering strife, that's not of Christ. Romans 1:29 says, "Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate." Now, like I said, no disrespect to, Charlie Kirk, but one thing he did when he went to the college campuses was debate. And as you can see within Romans 1:29, debate is one of the things that are a part of the unrighteousness. So for him to carry the flag of a Christian, he couldn't have been, because these are clear scriptures right here where the Bible is telling you that debate is one of the things of the unrighteous, or one of the things that unrighteous people do. Why? Because it creates problems. It genders strife. It brings people to want to go to blows with one another. And that's not of Christ. So yes, debate is not a part of the scriptures. It's not a part of Christ's doing. Christ wasn't debating with people. He was providing understanding, and if you wasn't a part of his program, he moved along. And that's how we have to do, because anything that genders strife, the evil one is always there. Now I also want to show that there's so much wrong that show within the United States. When Charlie Kirk's passing happened, people were cheering, people were happy for that, for him to leave this earth is something that you can't come back to once you're gone. And he had a wife, he had children, he had, I believe he had a child or two. And that's not right. And to me, that showed what's wrong with the United States and everything that lies within, this country as of right now. For a person to be, seen on camera, being taken out, and people rejoice over this, it's not right. And I believe that shows where America has fallen to, because that's not something I believe would happen in the past, especially to a man that's, of a Caucasian descent. Maybe they would have been happy of, a black man, a quote-unquote black man, a so-called black man, meeting his demise. But, a white man meeting his demise and people being happy over that, that shocked me. But nevertheless, this allows us and gives us a sign to let us know that America is morally decaying from the inside. It's nothing from the outside that's doing it. It's from the inside that people are becoming morally bankrupt. And this country is becoming bankrupt on so many different levels. Spiritually and morally bankrupt. And I understand if you didn't agree with him speaking on different topics from the left, as far as the LGBTQ and Black Lives Matter and things of that nature. But I thought it was a constitutional right for people to be able to express how they feel. I thought that was a right of the people to be able to do that. But for a quote-unquote Christian nation to celebrate over someone's demise isn't right. And it's not just me saying that. I'm going to go to the scriptures as well to elaborate on why it's not right. Now, if we go to Proverbs 24 and 17 to 18, it says, "Rejoice not when thy enemy falleth, and let not thy heart be glad. When he stumbleth, lest the Lord see it, and is displeased by him, and he turn away his wrath from him." Let me read it one more time. It says, "Rejoice not when thy enemy falleth, and let not thy heart be glad when he stumbleth, lest the Lord see it, and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him." So, yes, we can have disagreements with people. We can have disagreements with people. We could even be upset. But when a person falleth, when their life is taken, that's not a point to be glad and rejoice. That's a point to stand back and reflect, especially on how his life was taken. And like I said, we can't believe everything we see on TV, but from what we've seen on TV and how it happened, we're not supposed to be glad over that. And like I said, that just shows me where America has fallen to. Okay? And him falling and the right deeming him a martyr, as Trump said at his memorial, calling him a martyr, it just lets me know we're in a time of no return. But we're in a time that our Lord and Savior will be coming back sooner than later. So it's a time that we need to be, staying more focused on what we should be doing. We should be staying more focused on our mindset and our spirit and where it's at. And we shouldn't have a, revengeful spirit. We should have a loving spirit. Remember that song, What the World Needs Now? And that song still reigns true. Because the love of the world has waxed cold. And that's why us as believers and people that follow Christ, we need to show the world that there's still love here. Love your brother, love your sister, love your neighbor as yourself. Because that's what Christ would do. And my last scripture before I go is in Proverbs. It's 18 and 21. I know a lot of people say, well, man, he died because what he said. Well, the scriptures say that power of life and death is in the tongue. And I'm going to read it right now. Proverbs 18:21 says, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. And that goes to show you that on both sides, on both sides, from the people that were happy of his death and the people that were sorrowful for him dying, we all have to be conscious of what we say and what we speak. And that's another reason why I say, Charlie Kirk couldn't be a follower of Christ. Because understanding that, you would know that there's certain things you say and there's certain things you hold close to the vest. You don't go out there trying to debate and galvanize people in a negative manner, touting your intellectual prowess or believing that what you believe is better. If you're not just coming from the scriptures and you're just taking your perspective, and I understand that certain things that he said as well were against, the black America. But, and like I said, some deemed him to be posing a question about how things could become better for black America. Now, whether you're on his side or the other side of it, it doesn't matter. What matters is Christ. And what matters is how you use your words. Proverbs 18:21 says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. So people have to understand that we must spread love and not divisiveness. We must not spread division. Division is from the fallen ones. And of course, if we do spread division through Christ, let it be for the scriptures and not for your own vainglory. So, like I said, I wanted to come and speak to people about this situation because I understood that this is what America is speaking about, and this is what's on America's heart. And before I go, I just want to let you know that this is something that will continue. It's something that will continue throughout the years. And we're going to see more situations like this, more than you believe. And I'm going to come back with another lesson that talks about, is going to be more of this pulling of the strings from the right, trying to get and galvanize people to follow their agenda through victimhood or through martyrdom. So keep your eye on that. Keep your eye on, this continuing on the right-hand side of things. Or should I say, on the right conservative side of things. Because on the right hand side of things with Christ, he said if your eye be evil, your whole body is evil. And I'm telling you guys to love one another and to spread love like Christ would, so we could, so we could have a better tomorrow. But I understand that this world is going down an evil path, and it's a part of the whole divine plan, so Christ can come back and bring his rod and his staff to correct all the wrongs that have been done. So, like I said, this is Gideon Thoughts, and this is the Crown Network. And like I always say, continue to race for the crown. Be blessed.